All right, my friends, welcome back to the RPG Backlog. We are on the final episode of Final Fantasy III, and I am coming in extremely hot. I am still playing. Right before we started to record, I defeated the Cloud of Darkness, and now I'm on the Invincible right now, so I'm not sure how much longer there is of the game, but I think it's mainly just closing out the game.
Yeah, it's just closing out scenes.
Wow, in this section, we did the Cave of Darkness and the Earth Crystal, and then Doga's Manor Dungeon, and we finished up with the final dungeon gauntlet, which I would agree is a gauntlet. The Ancient Labyrinth, the Crystal Tower, Eureka, and the World of Darkness. All right, what did you all think of this?
Let Tom go first.
I'm always torn a little bit with how we talk about this because my inclination is to just sort of, particularly at the end, to just talk about the end.
Sure, go for it.
Well, but I'm gonna make an effort to, because then otherwise we don't say anything about the Cave of Darkness, I guess. Yeah, you get to. There's that weird thing where you break the statues. That was kind of, I guess that was kind of.
Annoying.
Yeah, you have to get up and you like walk through them, but they kind of like explode. What I felt sort of bad about was, I had never tried to go in there when I didn't have I just did what the guide said, so I like poked around in there and tried to do anything. Does it like blow you back or something? But it must not, because your other ship can get through the wind. You must just be rebuffed by some invisible barrier.
Yeah,
wait, you got through on the ship?
No. You have to get out and walk. But I'm saying,
okay, that's why I was like, this is effing dumb.
What happens when you try and fly the ship through?
So that's what I tried to do at first. I was like, okay, I have all the things. I'm gonna fly through it. Like, it just sits there and like your ship kind of shakes and then you can't move forward. I was like, what the hell? Try it again. Does it again. I'm like, get out of the ship. Walk through. They explode. Walk through. Explode. Sweet. Hey, look, there's a mountain I have to jump over. So now I gotta walk back to the effing ship just to get back into it and fly back up here. This is the dumbest, most asinine thing to do. Why don't you just let me do it on the ship?
I thought they were trying to like, I don't know, emulate something like really epic. Like imagine if they did that now in a game, like you would just be like tearing statues down with your hands or something.
Like you're walking through and these like massive like monoliths of some ancient, because if you look at them, I think they look like little dudes holding swords, I think.
Yeah, but they're the same size as you on the map.
Oh, but I interpreted, I don't know.
I'm using my imagination to imagine they were massive structures.
I think you remember the statues from Fellowship of the Ring that they sail past?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I thought they were supposed to be.
I thought the same thing. That's funny.
Yeah. And so then like those things like crumbling and crashing down as you like walk through this valley. That was
exactly
cool.
The problem is everything in the map is the same damn size, so it doesn't really convey that. Yeah. There was ways that they could have done it with the limitations to make it feel that way, and I get where you're going, and that would have been a little bit cooler, but just it's tedium for this. My whole thought on this last section is it was tedium for the sake of being tedious. That was it.
Well, especially the design of the Crystal Tower, we had to walk everywhere.
The Crystal Tower, the Labyrinth, getting to the Cave of Darkness, like getting there wasn't hard. I got there on the first time. It was more of just an annoyance of like, okay, each jump I have to sit here and count to 5 while it does its little thing up, over, down. Oh, I get to move 1 pixel, jump again, move 2 pixels, jump again. To me, this whole last section was tedium, and the story.
Because that wasn't nearly as much fun as having to switch your airship so that you could get through the wind to get back to Doga's Manor. I mean, that was high immersion right there.
Another tedium thing is like, oh, I'm gonna fly. There's so much good about this game, and then there is so much just like, what the actual F were you doing? And it makes me feel did this game continue the trend that we have seen with games in this era? Is we spent all this time and money on it. Oh crap, we're almost out of time and budget. We just got to do something here to close this out. All right, let's make this tedious for the sake of to make this draw out a little bit longer, but doesn't cost us that much money to do it. And that's what this whole section felt like to me.
I thought it was really interesting because it feels padded. Like certainly in the guide, it talks about how it's like famously long, and it really was the 4 bosses at the end. Like there's the boss gauntlet to get through to the Cloud of Darkness. Like everything felt really drawn out and extended in a way that didn't match the rest of the game. So you're talking about running out of budget and kind of finishing quickly, but this felt like they had extra budget and they're like, let's do more shit. It's like, oh my god. I think those the fucking 4 bosses in the right before you get to the Cloud of Darkness were, I don't know about you all, but Jesus, those things, I was severely over leveled. I thought I was like level 55, and it took a long time to beat those 4.
Oh, I'm 60 something on all my characters, and at no point one of my characters died for the first time in the fight, and I was able to bring him back, and that was because someone cast death on him. And that killed him.
That shows up there at the end,
and that was it. But I immediately raised him, and no issue whatsoever. But it's still like at no point in time was I afraid of my characters dying. But the fights just seemed to sit there and drag on and on and on. And at one point in time, going through the Crystal Labyrinth, going through Eureka, it was
pretty
like
intense.
as an endurance test, right? Like my white mage or my devout or whatever it was just running out of spells. I was blowing through my high potions and everything else, and I was getting nothing that gives me anything back going through that. And I don't know at what point I finally beat a boss that it finally was like, hey, we're going to give you your spells back. And I can't remember which one it was, but I was sitting there going, dude, there's no place for me to save. There's no place for me to rest. There's no place for me to get my stuff back.
It was the end. There were the little pools by the dudes who would sell you stuff at the end.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah. So in that vein, I actually thought that Eureka was maybe like the apex of difficulty of this game, which is not to say that like with whatever max boost I had turned on, I was also leveled somewhere in the low 50s at that, or the high 50s at that point, and then by the end of the game in the mid 60s.
Oh wow, you were higher than I was.
I just left it on, but I actually kind of liked that about Eureka, that it was like essentially a boss gauntlet if you wanted all of those cool optional weapons.
Exactly. Yep.
And the fact that they made you go through it without any health, places to stock up on anything or other was like, oh, okay, like this is interesting. And I was so over leveled at that point that it was just like, oh, this is kind of cute. I wasn't really worried for the party for the most part, but that was, I think, the closest thing that really came to feeling like an actual challenge compared with the, I guess that was the World of Darkness where you have to fight the guardians of the 4 dark crystals or whatever. But because you got fully restored out of each one of those, you could just like leave it all on the field and not think about the next 3 boss fights. Or whatever.
If you had to do those without getting topped off again after each crystal, Jesus Christ.
So but even I don't know. Did you look at the stats for the bosses?
No. I tried Libra and it kept not showing anything, so I couldn't.
It's useless. I was furious about
really
Libra.
useless. It just has no weaknesses. Like no shit. I want to know their HP. That must be like 45,000 or something.
It was 99,000.
Good Lord.
4 of those guys were 99K.
Oh my God.
Which I saw that on the wiki, and I was like, and you talk about padding. It's like, you assholes, man.
Yeah,
like
bullet sponges at the end of the game. Jesus.
It's just like. It got boring at a certain point. Like I had it on. I had the party that I ended up with after the Earth Crystal is I settled on, or I guess after Eureka, because that's where you get the
Yeah.
is I settled on, I stuck with my Dark Knight and my Viking, who became like amazingly useless there at the very end of the game. And then I had 2 sages. One to do I probably could have left them as a summoner. I turned it to a sage because I wanted to be able to use the black magic again.
Mm-hmm.
But Bahamut was just like, since nobody at the end has any like elemental weaknesses, I didn't really see much of a point, and I was just like spamming Bahamut on everybody.
Oh, damn. How did that work out? Like, how much damage did that do?
Bahamut was doing like 5k or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I kept using Flare with my Magus.
Oh,
it was doing
comparable?
like 5k. No,
yeah,
it was
okay.
great. It was doing 5k.
So it's kind of the same thing.
And then Holy with my Devout.
And then whatever the other sage was basically the white mage, and I just was bouncing between using whatever the level 2 cure was on everybody and the level 3 cure on everybody, depending on how bad it was looking. And I could just you could just let it go. And I don't know, that was kind of, because on the one hand, like, oh man, gauntlet of these like 4 insane dudes, but it was, and this is probably my fault for, leaving the boost on or whatever, but it's like, this is just kind of boring. And I can imagine that if you weren't over leveled, then it would have been boring and difficult instead of boring and easy.
Oh my God, it would have been maddening, frustratingly maddening. There's no way. I was so over leveled, and the first one I took on was the Northeast, which was the 2-headed dragon. And I died like 3 times, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Whoa. Yeah.
And I had to keep coming back, and I was like, "Okay, I need to figure out what the fuck I'm doing." I got into a rhythm, and then the rest of them, like, I took them all down without much trouble, but it was just long. And then the Cloud of Darkness with the particle beam or whatever.
Before we get to Cloud of Darkness, though, we gotta roll back a little bit, because before you go into the darkness dimension, right, there was what I thought was a pretty fun plot beat, which was where you get ambushed by a bunch of dragons, I guess. Or no, let's go even before that. When you first... I can't remember the ordering of all this stuff, but we're skipping over the stuff that happened in Doga's Manor.
Oh yeah, we totally did.
Doga and who's the other one?
Ute or Ule, what's that?
Like, they're just like, we need energy to do the keys, like, fucking fight us. And it's like, what? No, we're on this. No, do it now. Oh my God. This is ridiculous.
You get the circus key and the Eureka key. And by the way, this game represents the first time anyone's gone to a place called Eureka for anything good. So I just want to shout that out.
Can confirm.
Did you guys also notice how they didn't even bother to try and make the enemy sprite look like the pixel art for the character? It was just like, oh, you're fighting Doga. He looks like this nasty ass monster. Like,
oh, I know. It looked nothing like the little sprite.
Just like a crazy eyeball thing with tentacles. That talking about immersion here, for whatever reason, that really annoyed me. And the same thing where it's like, I'm, that when you were in Eureka, it's like, I'm a sword. It's like, oh, but when you fight it, it looks like, some monster thing. It's like, this is kind of, can the monster thing at least have the sword? That would have kind of made sense. Or you have a little animation of Doga turning into this nasty monster, but I don't know. I thought that was kind of, that seemed phoned in to me, that there was no effort there made to make the thing you encounter on the overworld look like the thing that you're fighting in the battle.
Yeah.
But before you can get in there, right, you get ambushed by all those wyverns.
Right, and you get where you stare at the mirror and get frozen.
Mm-hmm. But fortunately, the plot has all of these little... I thought that was kind of cool that all your friends came back.
Yeah, including those weird doofuses who thought they were the Warriors of Light.
Right,
Fellows. That was
fellows,
the first 4. I'm like, okay, totally cool with this. Then it goes to the fellows. I'm like, dude, you're stretching here, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
we
totally
need
stretching.
5. We need 5 dragons. No, you could have used 4.
You could have used 4, and this would have been perfectly fine because everything else has been teetering on 4. 4 warriors of light, 4 warriors of darkness, 4 friends to help your ass get through the mirror. No, we got 5.
Fellows too.
Yeah, like everything was 4, but this one time it has to be 5, and we're phoning in the 5th one because shit, we only had 4.
It worked out nice in the symmetry of the room, though. I found it aesthetically satisfying that there was, one dude for each dragon. But I would also like to do a little mini segment here called I Think I Have the Receipts, in which I predicted 2 things. One of which was it Detch? Is that how we said that guy's name?
That's right. You're like, he's not dead.
He wasn't dead, and sure enough, he comes out of the freaking furnace being like, I was just in there fixing it.
Yeah, you thought I was dead. No, I'm not dead.
Exactly. So I felt great about that. And what was the other thing I predicted? That we would, in some way, shape, or form, encounter the Warriors of Darkness. And we did.
Yes, we did.
I do call shenanigans on the Warriors of Darkness aspect, though. Not that you didn't call it, just on the fact that they're called Warriors of Darkness.
We're the Warriors of Light, man.
We are, but I call the shenanigans on the fact that they called those other 4 the Warriors of Darkness.
You got to have your counterparts so that you can end the whole game by a Star Wars scrolling text about hope.
This is one of my other. This is something that just irked me to no end with this game. We're fighting the darkness. That oh my god! I never thought I'd say that phrase without a hint of irony in it. But that's literally what we're effing doing.
It's a cloud. It's a cloud.
Cloud
of darkness.
Whatever. Darkness bad. That's been the whole thing. Darkness bad. The Warriors of the Darkness are talking about how the hope, and we're going to work together as a team to save everything. Motherfucker, no. If they're the Warriors of Darkness, they should be a-holes. Like, you could have had them in a way that's like, yeah, dude, we're the exact opposite of you, but we still want to help you, not because of hope, but because if we don't help you, we all cease to exist. Instead, they're these happy, cheery SOBs that are supposedly Warriors of Darkness in name only. Like, it just felt so phoned in that they were called the Warriors of Darkness, because they were not anything. They were in dark colored sprites. That's it. Like,
so I see this, but I want to push back a little bit to say that the game at least made an attempt through the dialogue to kind of try and explain this, right? It's either the first or second, and I don't know if their dialogue depends on the order or which one gets released from which crystal. I don't remember, but I started in the bottom left and then worked my way clockwise, and either the first or second, one of those guys said something to the effect of like that there's light and there's darkness, and if the two like completely combine, then it to me seemed like what they were getting at was more like the concept of matter, antimatter, right? It's not that matter is good and antimatter is bad. It's that they're sort of two sides of the same coin, and together they like self-annihilate each other. And what we're really fighting here is like nihilism. If all this comes to pass and then there's nothing, right? They talk about void, and that's what we really want to avoid. And so I don't wonder if we were here like darkness wasn't supposed to be, because you're right, the evil thing is the cloud of darkness, but they specifically say earlier in the game that at one point the light got too bright for everybody, right? There was an excess of light, and that's where the lore introduced the Warriors of Darkness. They came and tamed the light, just now that the Warriors of Light are coming to tame the darkness that gets out of hand. And what I took away from it, this was like a sort of a yin-yang kind of balance sort of deal, and that's what we were supposed to be doing. It wasn't necessarily like a good and evil kind of dichotomy.
But that's why I landed. Portrayed the cloud of darkness as evil.
No, they portrayed her as hot. Okay, there's a difference.
I am confused because I thought it was just going to be an amorphous cloud, but it was like this hot lady sprite.
You were mistaken. That was an anatomically correct cloud.
Okay, maybe it's something wrong about me.
I like I said, this game throughout the whole thing, the story has been hot garbage. I contend that it still is hot garbage. it's on fire garbage at this point. Like it's not even hot. Like the story is just not even worth it. The gameplay loop, the classes, this is the shining thing of this, and we go back to like the previous games where story good, gameplay meh. This is the exact opposite, where gameplay good, story garbage, and hopefully in the next one they've figured out the right way to marry the two together.
I agree with you and disagree on the story. I agree with you that the story was just like really straightforward, just very trite, very tropey. Obviously, this is from years and years ago, but this is a step forward in their storytelling in terms of amount, right? They really were trying to tell a deeper story here. I like the story in 2 better. In fact, of the original trilogy, I like 2 better than the other 2 by a large margin. Yeah. But they really were trying to say, at least to me, was like, the story is important. We need to have something here. Let's put something here. Oh, what we put here is terrible. But eventually, and in 4 and in 6, we're going to get to those good stories. Yeah. But, they had to, kind of fuck up here. To make a step forward, and I think we'll see in 4.
I think where I landed with it was that I came away with this last segment, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I was paying attention after the sort of hints were dropped early, and I was looking for. But the world building and the lore of this stuff, that idea of that there's these two, because it's always the light fighting the darkness, and the idea that they sort of subverted that a little bit and said, well, no, these 2 things are sort of on equal footing, and when either of them gets out of hand, the opposing force to balance it, and it's this balance that is what makes peace and stability and all that across the Final Fantasy multiverse or whatever. That I thought was cool. What I think I thought the characters in this game were just like cardboard cutouts.
Absolutely.
And that's what I thought really, really hurt it, because going back to 2, I still think about, was Joseph was one of the freedom fighter kind of dudes.
The one who sacrificed himself, that guy?
Sacrificed himself in front of that Indiana Jones boulder, and
exactly.
His lady friend had to raise his daughter and stuff like that was heady stuff. This one in the finale, who is it? Is it Sarah? Was like, I guess this was a love interest that kind of went over my head early in the game, and that was the part that I was most irritated with at the end. It was like, oh really? Like, I'm supposed to buy this? Like that didn't feel earned in the least. And
I mean, that was heavily implied when you ran into her.
Maybe I just forgot. I don't.
That to me, I was like, with the Sarah thing, I was like, yeah, that knew that, saw that coming. Larry hasn't quite. I don't know if you've gotten all the way through all the credits yet.
I did, yeah. As we were going here, yep.
That the dancers are the hookers. I told you. Like literally, I was like vindication when he takes Sarah back home to his own town, and the dancer wants to give him a kiss. And it's like, wait, no, you're not allowed to do that. It's like, yeah, I knew they were hookers. But you guys didn't want to believe me. You're like, no, they're dancers.
Was there money exchanged?
You don't know that there wasn't.
Well, you're making a huge assumption here that there was, but there was certainly some.
The lack of evidence does not mean that it wasn't the case.
All right. Before we take this to court, that was I thought I was happier to see fellow, put it that way. We should. Do we? We don't really. They don't have a good format for this, but we probably should do like a power ranking of the helpers. I think that Detch was the best. I think Sid was second. Helpers are third, and then Sarah and the King, they can fight for the bottom 2 spots. I don't care.
Yeah, I'd put the royalty at the bottom as well. I think the fellows are probably number 2. I'd put Sid on top. And then Detch.
Oh, you like Sid? Yeah, Sid is pretty cool.
I just always like Sid. Sid's just great.
The fact that he's a gnome in this game, hilarious.
It's hilarious. I know, it's so good.
A gnome that wants to mac on his wife.
Man. He is one horny gnome.
Yeah.
What else? We kind of... I guess we kind of flipped through. I mean, the actual battle... How boring was that?
Against who? You cut out.
You cut out.
Sorry, the battle with the cloud at the end?
Oh, I thought it was interesting just from the fact of just resource management, just making sure that I could cast Kiraja on my whole team in the right, I don't know, cadence to keep everyone alive. No one died. I got through it, which is, it was weird that the particle beam in that fight was different than the particle beam earlier where you got wiped. Like, it was way stronger earlier, obviously for a story beat.
The thing, I was just saying, the thing earlier is just for effect, basically, I think. Yeah. Maybe we're supposed to infer from this that because what did the darkness dudes actually do? They jumped into the little swirly thing, and that was the last we saw of them.
It was so quick, I didn't know what the point was.
They just jumped onto the cloud of darkness, and then all of a sudden they disappeared.
But maybe we read into that they're lending their strength to you, or they're weakening the cloud or something like that, and that's why.
Oh, maybe that's why it's weaker.
Right.
Sure. I'll go with that.
Yeah. Oh, and what's the fate? When did they show up? It was the first time. It was the first turn with the Cloud of Darkness that Doga and Une showed up one more time to like pull their Obi-Wan Kenobi bit and like force
raise you from the dead, you know.
Yeah. Which that was okay. It was kind of interesting. I that was the same thing though. Is I feel like so much story was shoehorned into like the back end of this game. Like I wish we had met them earlier.
Right.
And it was pretty funny at the very, very end when you go back to and because what Sarah's like, let's go back to and I was like, I'm sitting here watching this. I'm like, where the fuck is Like, what's What's she talking about? And then it's like, oh yeah, the city that we started from at the very end.
Because it's just me or is he cutting out a lot?
he cut out a little bit there. I'm just going to chalk it up to enthusiasm. You broke Discord.
Oh no!
Your excitement caused the mic to clip.
I'll speak in more measured tones and more slowly.
This game was incredible. The storytelling was superb.
That's sounding like me trying to lie.
How would I'm curious how you three, Jesus Christ, you two would rank the first three Final Fantasies that we played through here.
I'm trying to remember 1 and 2 now.
Well, wow.
If that gives you any idea.
I'm with you, Larry. I liked the second one the best. I think because of the story and the weird experience mechanic.
Yeah, the same reason for me. Yeah.
I loved it, but it was weird enough to be interesting.
Yep.
And I liked that. It might be recency bias, but I think I'm putting this one second because the jobs thing was at least interesting. And then the first one was sort of, I remember the least about it, but that one had a decent story despite being kind of bare bones. So, but I still think maybe I put it at the bottom.
What about you, Travis?
I'm trying to remember, I'm reminding myself of them, to be blatantly honest.
Chaos.
Go listen to the podcast real quick.
Yeah, let me go back and re-listen. Okay, that was one. Okay. Two so far had the best story, like straight up.
Yeah.
And had, but then the gameplay on that one just irked me to no end.
Oh God, the encounters. I forgot about that.
The encounters were pretty rough.
The counter rate was just like, someone please shoot me. And then Final Fantasy 1. I'm kind of a weird, like, the gameplay on this is good. Yeah, 2, 1. I enjoyed 1. I really did.
Yeah, me too.
I'm actually gonna have to go 2, 1, 3.
That's exactly my order too.
Just because the story on this one just is such a the gameplay, the job class and the gameplay. This one is by far the best. However, the story is just non-existent. It's trying to be there, but it just is so cookie cutter, so flat, so one-dimensional, and so shoehorned in certain areas and then the gameplay at the end couldn't save that gauntlet. Like that just, it got to the point where I was looking for an excuse to use the autoplay. Like I was trying so hard just to get the setup. Like at one point in time on one of those final 4 bosses before the Cloud of Darkness, I literally had my Night Attack, my Devout Cast Cure on everyone, my Sage Cast freaking Flare, and my Ninja Throw a Shuriken, and I just hit auto. Because literally every round I would take about 1,000 hit points of damage to everyone. The cure would heal everyone for about 1,000 hit points.
Yep.
And I was just chipping away at it, and I could turn my mind. Like, that was what I was looking for, because the gameplay at that point had gotten to the point where it could no longer carry my disdain for the story. And I didn't have that anywhere else. Like, the gameplay in 2 was detracting from the story. And it wasn't the gameplay itself, it was just how often we got attacked and had to fight.
Yeah.
That was dragging me down. So yeah, I go 2-1-3 at this point.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same for very similar reasons. I really enjoyed the story of 2. Of these 3, I think it's the best one. And I like that 3 was trying to push out and do more stuff, but it really just fell flat. Like Tom said, complete cardboard. 1 was very simple story, but like pretty...
it worked.
It worked, and it's template, right? Like it really lays a template for the rest of the series, and I think that there's something to that simpleness. It makes me actually want to go play Stranger of Paradise and get like more of the Final Fantasy 1 story in that Souls-like game.
Yep.
Yeah. Where I think we heard yours, Travis. Larry, what was your party at the end? What was your job?
I stuck with the same kind for the whole time. So I ended up moving up to the knight, and then I had the monk, and then I had the devout at the end, and I had the magus, the magus.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Just so straight through.
Just a straight regular party. I wish I would have switched over. I didn't realize that I couldn't use the shuriken. I thought it was an item you could use with anyone, but I guess I need to be the ninja.
Yeah.
But how much damage did the shuriken do?
9,999 every time.
Sweet.
I really could have used that. Okay.
Which is why I had that set up on auto attack, because it was like boom, boom, boom. Okay, dead. Sweet. Go to the next one. Boom, boom, boom. Dead. Sweet.
Okay.
Go to, like,
but you have a limited shuriken, right? You have limited.
Yeah.
Well, there was the one in Eureka. There was the one vendor that sold a bunch of them. So I already had 5.
Yeah.
Because there was 5 of them in the world that you could pick up. And I bought like 20.
Yeah.
Because I just had so much gil that I was like, I'm not good. I had like 4 or 5 million gil.
I did the same thing. I bought a bunch. I'm like, oh, cool, I'm going to use them. And I didn't switch to the ninja. I'm like, well, fuck, I can't use them. All right.
Yeah. I switched. So I had been running. So I've been running a knight since the second freaking crystal. Or was it the first crystal? I can't remember.
I think it was second.
Yeah. Anyways, I've been running the knight since I got that. Then I've been running a white mage and a black mage the entire time, and then I finally, after the earth crystal, upgraded them to the devout and the mages. And then I was running a black belt. I went monk, black belt, and then I upgraded him to the ninja. And
I'm sorry. It was a black belt that I had, not a monk. Monk's the first one, right?
I figured that's what you meant when you said yeah. And so but that. Everyone said that I've heard before that like the ninja does like insane damage, and he was literally the only one that was doing that type of crap, because I just throw shuriken 9,000 like cap every time.
That's awesome.
That'd have been cool to use. Oh well, I got through it. It would have made that up. I wouldn't have cut it so close, like to the second when we started fucking recording. Like it was still going.
My Dark Knight. By the time you got all the good weapons from Eureka, he had that Masume, and then there was another, and Ragnarok. Yeah, I think those are the 2. And when he would get criticals, which was pretty good. And then normally he was like 4 to 5 or something like that. So
I used Ragnarok and then the Moonblade. So it like threw that boomerang like fucking blade thing.
Yeah, that was cool. I had the Moonblade for a little bit.
Yeah.
The Moonblade was on my ninja with something else. I had Excalibur and might have been Ragnarok on my knight. because those were the two highest damage ones. And the Moonblade did way more damage when it was for whatever reason. It hit harder when it was in the ninja's hands than what it did when it was in the knight. So I don't know why.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Did you guys wear the ribbons?
Yeah. As many people as I could put on the ribbon, I did.
I read somewhere that apparently the darkness cloud, which this would have made this a lot harder, didn't have those ribbons. I think there's status effects that come with the particle beam.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, and so that would have made that a lot harder. But I read somewhere like, yeah, you want to fight all those dudes and get those ribbons because they're pretty useful. So I was like, oh, okay.
I think I fought 3 of them. I didn't fight all 4 of them. It was the Xanthe ghost or fucking mimic or whatever it was.
I don't remember. I fought everything.
I remember the eyeball. I remember the other 2.
Well, I was talking about the place where you're going through to you're going through to get to the crystal, but you could go to a chest and it was the Xander or Zande, whatever.
Oh, his clones. That's right.
Clones.
Oh, that's right.
Exactly.
That's where the ribbons were. You got it from not the boxes, but the boxes. Yeah,
exactly.
You already had, I think, by the time you got there, maybe 2 ribbons.
That's why I only did 2 of those. Like I already have 2 of these, so I don't need to do all 4 of these. Just because I'm on a fucking timer. I gotta
on a timer, man.
Gotta get done by 9. So, and I did it. I feel real good. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of cool to complete the first. I don't know. Trilogy is the wrong term for it, but the first 3 games in the series. I feel like we've delved into the beginnings of Final Fantasy and have a lot better understanding of the series, which feels cool.
Conversely, it's sort of nice to be out of the NES types now. Like, there's a certain amount of, and I say this with love in my voice, but like jank that that just comes with some of these older things where it's just like, yeah, they were really games and what worked and what didn't and all that stuff. That it's just a level of polish and sophistication that comes with I assume comes with the later stuff, the way people talk about them.
Well, I'm excited for 4 specifically because of some of that, what you're talking about, where the story with Cecil really stands out for people. 4 is some people's favorite Final Fantasy. So
I had a ranking up the other day. I can't remember. And it was pretty funny because I was like, oh, let's look and see where this one is. Number 16, Final Fantasy 3. Very bottom of the list.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Like job system, and that's it.
Yep. And then they had 13, which I never played. And then they had 2, and then they had 1. So, and then they had 4, which is still pretty deep in the list, but I guess of these 6, they have it above the 3 that we've already played. So
yeah, it's supposed to be 4 and 6 really from this, although some people like 5 as well. But the story is where it starts coming in.
Yeah, they have 6 at number 4 on this list. So I think it is pretty well loved. Well, that should be fun. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else we want to do to put a pin on the NES ones?
No, I'm glad that we played through and were able to see the beginnings of Final Fantasy, and each one had something that you can pull forward and say, put those 3 things together into a different game, and you got a pretty damn good game going on. And the pixel art in the remaster is really nice, and the reorchestrations are also quite lovely. I can't imagine playing these though without boosts of some kind. Like it really took some of the edge off. That would have been frustrating.
That's what I'm actually. That's maybe my biggest regret is I don't think I did any boost in the other 2, and I think I would have had more fun and it would have felt like less of a slog. Because on this one, when I just sort of gave up. And I was doing it because I wanted to play with some of the other classes, but didn't want to be, hamstrung by that. I'm wishing I did that earlier because I think and this one was like whiplash. Like I played the first half of the game with nothing, and the last half of the game I had it turned up to 11.
Yeah.
And I think maybe just putting that at like the first or the second tier kind of thing. But what I'm really interested in the Super NES ones. Like, did they not nerf it, but did they round off the edges and make those a little more approachable? Because I don't remember, like, by the time 7, I don't really remember having a grind in that game. Like, you just
in 7?
yeah. Did you? I don't know.
I mean, I didn't play it originally. I just watched Travis play it, and I feel like the only thing I ever saw him do was grind.
Well, but it's Travis. Like,
Why am I like the bad guy?
You're
Here?
catching strays over here,
you're
man.
not. But
Jesus
you're a grinder,
Christ,
man.
dude! Like, there's crossfire. And it's just all of a sudden like, no. Let's just point it all at Travis. And be like, oh, he does this shit.
That's
No.
the role here. Is you're the guy who grinds.
I'm the grinder. Oh, that doesn't.
You're
have
on
some-
Grinder. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no. So I will say, did you need to? Not necessarily. They had a pretty good balance in the original 7 where you didn't need to grind to make it through the game. However, I will say that if you didn't do to some degree, you were missing out on a lot of the side stuff. So the weapons were the hardest bosses in the games. And you could not just walk in and say hi to them. They would ravage you 5 ways from hell in 2 seconds if you hadn't grinded to get some more levels. Beating Sephiroth in all of his forms,
It's doable.
is doable.
Yeah.
The only reason why you might need to grind a little bit in that game is because you needed 2 parties of 3, and a lot of people fell into the trap, myself included, where you found your favorite 3 and you just rolled with them the whole time, and then you got to Sephiroth, you're like, oh crap, I have to fight 2 sides at the same time with 2 different parties, and one set is woefully underleveled. So holy crap, good luck with this shit. So that was the thing, right? Like, that's why people would have to grind, is because they didn't do that. Now, this game, I mean, I didn't grind. I don't think. I don't know. I don't feel like I did. But then I think I was one. I mean, Tommy, you're higher level than me because I think I ended the game around 61, 62.
Yeah, if you're mid 60s, I finished at 55 or so. I guess I didn't look after I finished it just now, but
again, this is sort of consistent with it taking a little longer for you at that level. And I was grateful I did, because of some of this stuff. It was just like, this is, I don't know. Yeah, it just that final run of stuff. It's like, how many hit points can you deal out? Watch the same animations over and over and over again.
I just came back out and saved that save file with the star. I've got level 56. That's where I ended up. And then I had a total time of 10 hours and 52 minutes. I don't know where yours came in at.
See what I landed at. I had, oh my gosh. No, my dudes are at 67 is where
Holy shit.
And I had a time of 15:11.
Okay. Pretty good.
Which I will attribute to the.
I have to load the game back up because I realized I turned it off. But I know I'm in the low 60s. So this is where I'm sitting going, I don't think you can't get me for grinding in this time around. And the reason I say that is because I'm only at 10.7 hours of playtime.
Oh, yeah, you're
right around the same amount of time as you.
Exactly, yeah. And the same level or a little higher level? Huh.
Oh, shit.
What was I doing for those 5 hours?
Okay, I'll shut up now.
No. What level are you, man?
Oh, I can't catch a fucking break tonight, man. Seriously, shit. 69.
Nice.
There it is. The grinder strikes again.
Oh, man, that's funny. Actually, I don't know, though, because we have the same amount of time as I do. So you had the boost on, I guess.
No, I didn't have the boost on, but
How in 10 hours did you get
that doesn't math.
ahead of me?
That math doesn't math.
How?
There's only one way to get experience in this game.
I know, but when you find certain areas and you just sit there. There was a couple places in the game, I didn't think I had grinded that much, which is why I say that, but there's a couple places in the game where the people you fought were really easy, but I noticed that they gave you an obscene amount of experience in some of those dungeons. So I would just kind of walk back and forth a little bit. Like, so the Tower of Owen, when you get up there, there was one of the mobs I was looking for, but I noticed while I was there that everything was giving me, like, I was getting a level every like few fights. So I was just like, well, shit, if I'm doing it this well, I might as well just do this while I look for the mobs I'm looking for. So I did that in a couple places, but I didn't think I spent that much time doing it.
I mean, the level gain at the end was like a significant amount of experience points.
Yes.
Right, and that's the other thing is I think I started the tower around 57, 58. I was in the high 50s when I rolled in, or high 50s, like I was like 58, 59 when I rolled into the labyrinth.
Yeah.
And so, again, as I said before, while doing any one of the bosses in Eureka or the Crystal Tower or any of those, at no point in time did I think I was going to lose the fight. I never had that concern. So I think because of that, yeah. So I don't know what to tell you, man. Like I checked it. I don't have the boost on this time. I at least had it on 1, unlike in Final Fantasy 2 where I had it on 0 and couldn't figure out why the hell no one was.
Why am I not level?
Yeah, I don't touch the boost when I go in. So
I don't know, man. Like having the same hour count as I had, but I had the boost at 2 times for half the game and then 4 times for the rest. That's just,
I don't know.
But you landed at 69, which is pretty nice. So it's just,
pretty nice.
Yeah.
pretty nice.
It is what it is. I didn't think I got that high. Again, I could have sworn I looked at it. I was 61, but then to your point, that last, I think I was looking at that when I rolled into the tower. So, yeah.
I mean, between all of the clones and the bosses and then just the stuff that you're fighting on the way there, they also purposefully in the Crystal Tower, like all of the paths were, how can we make you walk as much as possible everywhere in here? And so you fight a lot of stuff.
Well, the other thing is in the Crystal Tower, I don't know if you guys ran into this, but the behemoth was a random mob that you would run into.
I don't know if I did. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't? Like, I ran into the behemoth like 5 or 6 times. I was like, why am I fighting? And it was like a boss battle, even though he was not one of the bosses. It was literally just you would run into him.
Yeah, I ran into a different. I don't think it was behemoth, but it was
that guy. Yeah, you see him a bunch.
Yeah.
A little dog-looking thing.
No, that was a Cerberus.
No, sorry, I'm being generous with the term dog.
Okay, I was like, this was a big purple-looking thing.
He's got horns and stuff like that, but he's it's like a dog with horns. That is sprite I'm looking at.
Okay, fair. Yeah. But anyways, point being is I ran into that guy all the damn time. Because most of the mobs you're into are like those ninjas, like the male and female ninjas or a couple other things that look like that. And you can kill them in one hit. And then I kept running into the behemoth where I was like, okay, sweet, attack him. It's like, he would just kind of like shrug it off. Like, what the hell? And he would take four or 5 rounds of me wailing on him for him to actually die. So that might have also, I would assume that they would give you more experience whenever you fight something at that caliber. I don't know. But anyways, I don't know.
Cool. Good stuff overall. Are we traipsing into Final Fantasy IV? We need a break. What are we doing? What do you think? Should we talk to Mike about it?
I mean, this is more of a Tom thing because
I like having the break in between, but maybe we can take that conversation offline.
That sounds good. Well, next time you hear from us at some point in the future, it will be Final Fantasy IV. It could be next month. It could be next year. We'll find out. But thanks so much for being here for our traipse through Final Fantasy III. To be honest, this was my favorite set of podcasts that we've done so far. I had a lot of fun talking about this game. Lots of laughs, which is always great. If you like our podcast, please rate us on your podcast service of choice. If you don't like our podcast, why don't you go play Final Fantasy III without the boosts and see how you do?
And cast Magic Missile while you're at it.
There you go.
People, if you know, you know.
And we will see you next time.
Later.
Bye.